Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to what I'd like to call an episode of Voice Coffee Break Live. I have coffee, you don't.
Coffee's running through my veins.
Mr. Ian Utile joins me. For those of you that don't know me, I'm James Poulter. Most people in the voice world know me as JP. As it says on this jacket. Welcome to a special episode of this little chat here, live from Voice Summit.
Here we are.
In Arlington, Virginia, just outside of the nation's capital here in Washington, D.C. Ian,
yes.
CEO, founder or co-founder, founder? You going to have founder?
I'm the co-founder. I have co-founders.
Okay, co-founder of attn.live and contributor to many things in the space, both in the voice world and also in the NFT space, which is what we're going to talk about in this little session today. And Ian's also been doing the most fabulous job, and also give it up for this amazing team around here who have been, if you've watched any of these lives,
team's killing
they are just doing an absolutely amazing job of bringing
the
attention to voice live. See what I did there?
I like that a lot.
That's good, eh?
I like that a lot.
We're here to talk about you're going to close out the conference today with a keynote all around, I suppose, the intersection between the voice and the metaverse, the NFT space.
Yeah.
Maybe for those watching who are thinking, like, what is the connection between these two things? Why don't we just start there? What is the connection between NFTs and voice?
So for you, for the Voice Summit audience, what's the connection? I'll start there. The connection between conversational AI, voice technology, NLP, anything that you brand as your world as part of Voice Summit MoDev world, with NFTs, non-fungible tokens, smart contracts, blockchain, crypto. The connection between the two is that the whole NFT blockchain crypto world is what's coined as Web3, or metaverse is what people are throwing around today. This is a decentralized approach to technology. It's really what Web 1's promise was.
Right.
You know, all these decentralized machines that are interconnected for people to be able to get things done. The likelihood of Web 3 thriving, growing, and scaling with thumbs on glass or fingers on a keyboard is just about zero. Therefore, the one and only way for the vision to be materialized is for voice to be the interface, which is why my talk today is the future of NLP and NFTs, because I'll be talking about what I foresee happening over the course of the next year and decade and further in terms of voice technology being a pivotal part of the scalability of the Web3 empires that are being built in a decentralized fashion.
Absolutely. Let's talk about attn.live and what that kind of means in this space. You guys have been at the forefront of this for a little while now in terms of actually creating NFTs around voice as a product. So that's basically the spoken word being something that can be attributed, something that's traceable, something that kind of has provenance and provenance, right? In terms of how our voices turn into digital artifacts and how can we actually have a stake in those and an ownership over them. Maybe just explain to us a little bit about kind of where attn.live fits into this mix and how that's come about.
Yeah, so attn.live is my 7th company. Most of my companies, not all, but most have been software as a service type companies. So one of the things that was really discouraging to me when one of our successful companies had been acquired by a private equity firm was that our acquisition price was much lower than we anticipated because we couldn't scale. Right. And so I started to think to myself, what does it take to make a software company scalable? And I came to the conclusion that there was two primary things. That the interface needed to be a voice interface because the process of thumbs on glass, fingers on a keyboard, I thought it was too slow. The other area that I realized was smart contracts, that there had to be a way to basically, if this, then that, the process of a software technology interfacing with the customer service employees and the clients. And so I went on this mission in 2017 that I was going to figure out exactly what it took to have a voice interface for software and have blockchain as kind of the underpinning of it all. Where it landed was me doing voice tech events before I met Pete and Bradley, and me doing blockchain events before I met the folks that wanted to launch NFT NYC. So then I partnered with the NFT NYC people, and I did stuff with Consensus and World CryptoCon and this blockchain and crypto NFT group, and then I've been helping Pete here and Bradley with his events. And the reason I did that is I realized if I can just build relationships with you if I can build a relationship with John Stein from Open Voice Network and all the amazing men and women in these two industries, then I can, if nothing else, be aware of what's possible and then build things out at our company at Attention Live. So what we've built, I'd like to think, will one day be seen as like the Gutenberg printing press of the digital age. So Gutenberg did not create the first printing press.
Right.
It was the first typeform printing press.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so we are not the first to send media to every platform.
Right.
Okay, we are the first to send live media or live audio to Amazon, or we're maybe the first to send live audio to YouTube the way that we do it. So we can like say, oh, we're the first, but that's not really the point.
Yeah.
The point is you put media through our system. It goes everywhere. All the voice devices like Lexi and Assistant, all the social media sites like YouTube and Twitter, all the podcast platforms like Spotify and Amazon and Apple Podcasts. Yeah. And so it's mass distribution. That's the product that Attention Live built. We built a prototype that we used at Voice CES January 2020. And so that was kind of the first time we really used the prototype well. And then we built V1 in 2020, but it was too hard to scale. So we built V2 this year, and now we're in the position to be ready to scale our product and take on as many musicians and record labels, as many nonprofit organizations and teachers, as many podcasters and radio stations and universities. So we're ready for the enterprise. We're ready for individuals to use our product to do mass distribution. We have a voice interface. You can talk to the application, which if you're blind, that's a bonus.
Yeah,
if you don't speak a major language, you might actually have a chance to engage with our platform. And then the big thing that you mentioned is NFT creation. So when content goes through our system, I think Dr. Terry Fisher with the Voice Den was as good of a case study as any for this audience. So we've done almost 100 voice fluencers in partnership with Dr. Fisher. And you were maybe one I think you were the first, right?
Yeah, I think I was on the first run, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we said to Terry, please, other schedules are available, but yeah. Absolutely.
And so for what Terry did is he said, the content that you spoke on the Voice Den, we created an NFT at Attention Live against that. Yeah. Now it looks like a collector card, but ultimately it's the content. Now you have the IP card, which means you own your intellectual property. And Terry and I, we have the CP, the creator proof, and Terry the AP, the artist proof. And then we gave 26 away. And those 26 gave access to that content and allow them to have like this collectability. And there's a lot of utility that we're looking forward to soon.
So let's put this into maybe some kind of use cases that people might be thinking about as they're watching this. Say, one of the things I do outside of my role in being the CEO at Vixen Labs is I'm a public speaker. I do a lot of speaking on all sorts of different subjects.
By the way. Yesterday,
thank you. That wasn't me Terry fishing for a comment, but
I was going to give it to you whether you brought it up or not.
Let's say for the sake of argument that I want to own the talk that I gave yesterday here at the conference, right? Right now, I could, if I go and do a public speaking gig somewhere, I get paid to show up and do that talk.
Right.
And I think there's a value placed on that. Those of you that are watching this, there's a value placed on doing something like this. There's a value placed on being in a physical room with people and doing something at the same time. But I only get paid for that moment that I'm there. And then, in the contract, it might say, the owner of that talk can then put it up on their website and rebroadcast it to their 100,000 employees that they have. Every time that employee is watching that, currently I own nothing of that.
That's right.
So when it comes to that type of one-of-one intellectual property, sure, the talk I might have written, I might do it at 3 other different places, but that one time I delivered it with the exact way I delivered it in that moment with those people, with those questions, that's a unique instance.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about where, kind of the ownership of an NFT potentially of that product or a smart contract that backs that kind of voice artifact goes in the future. There has to be opportunity to own that, share it, residuals and everything else, right?
Yes to all of that. So the thing about smart contracts is that they can be customized however the corporation, in this case Attention Live, or maybe in this case Vixen, or the individual, right? In this case Ian or JP. It can be customized to our specific desire. What we want to do at Attention Live is figure out where are the guardrails, what's the right protocol, and so we've thought of it in terms of like platinum, silver, chrome. Okay, so a platinum podcast NFT would be like a one-of-one. It owns the intellectual property and it absorbs all financial benefit from the rest.
Right.
Let's say like a 1 of 10 or a 1 of 100 would be like a silver. And so that may have like limited commercial rights. Okay, it means that you could take the content that was on your or my podcast and you could leverage that in a commercial fashion, make money from it. Maybe there's 10 of them, maybe there's 100 of them. You know that there are other people that can do that as well. And any money that's created from that would go to the platinum. Right. And then maybe there's 1,000 or 10,000 of these Chrome. Maybe those are given away. In fact, you might even pay people to put them in their wallet, right? So I envision a time where podcasters will actually, if not give NFTs away, they will actually pay people to absorb their content and put content in their wallet, because then they build a wallet list, like we've built a text message list and an email list. So we've kind of thought through the strategic trajectory of how podcasters, musicians, teachers can do these things in a fashion, because 10 years ago you paid for content. Today you get content for your attention. And the future, most likely, you'll get paid for your attention through the form of an NFT of some sort that retains some sort of value.
Retains some sort of value. And I think that's the thing that I think gets really interesting in this space, is that when obviously a lot of people, a lot of attention right now is on the NFT art space. People trading, PFP, kind of profile picture, activity. Those of you who may be following this space, you're looking at Bored Ape Yacht Club, you're looking at, crypto kitties, you go back far enough, what Gary Vee is doing with V-Friends. And obviously those things are unleashing a kind of creativity and an artistic provenance, but many, many more of us have something to say than something to draw.
Yes.
Maybe. Where do you see the potential for marketplaces opening up for us to exchange these kind of voice artifacts, and not just kind of the spoken word, but also our voices themselves? Yesterday my talker was talking about NFVs.
I love that.
What's the idea of a non-fungible voice? How do we take ownership over our whole voice print? You look at what our partners at Veritone are launching at the moment,
really exciting,
with Marvel AI, and being able to create a synthetic version of my voice.
Yes.
How important is NFTs going to be in that to kind of claim ownership over those things?
Well, you asked about marketplace. So let me answer that first. So the marketplace, I think, .cred, so .kred or NFT.kred is a great potential option, because you can mint with them on Ethereum, on Polygon with almost zero minting fees, on Solana, right? We've looked into options to mint on Cortana, Cardano. I think I just said it wrong.
Cardano, I think it is.
Cardano. I said it wrong. I said it wrong because we're at the voice event. We've built out the different ability to mint on Internet Computer, which is Dfinity Foundations. So there's all these different blockchains you can mint on. There's different benefits for each.
Sorry, I just have to pause you. So on the minting, because for those that are watching maybe don't understand that, what do you mean when you mint an NFT?
When you buy a car, you get a pink slip. The DMV has to print that. That's a minting of a pink slip. When you buy a house, you get a deed for your house. The title company has to mint your deed. They have to print your deed. In a digital fashion, when you create an audio NFT or a JPEG NFT or a NFT around anything, it's minted digitally. It's like the title company printing it out and saying you own this house, or the DMV printing out your pink slip and saying you own this car.
And so when that minting happens, say I go to .cred or one of these other platforms to go mint my NFT, I want to say, okay, I want to create something that contains certain rights to this thing, and also contains certain media potentially, or other things. And I'm going to go put that on an exchange.
So this is why I brought up .cred. .cred's unique in not just the ability to mint, but the ability for one click to send it to a marketplace like OpenSea.
Right.
But if you don't want to send it to OpenSea, or there's lots of marketplaces, there's Foundation, there's Rarible, there's so many, Super Rare, on and on. They let you have your own hub.
Right.
So like Vixen or Terry, right? For Terry or for Attention Live, we've built out hubs for people to where they have their own kind of private label version of a marketplace where they can give NFTs away or sell NFTs.
Right. So for those people that are they're building communities around their brand, their product, their podcast perhaps, or something like that. We've seen a lot of people moving into using membership as a way of doing this, right? Building community. Patreon's entire business model built up around kind of what you described, right? Tiers. But those tiers are limited to you, and I have no means of giving my membership to that thing to somebody else when I'm done with it, right? And so that's some of the other kind of benefit that seems to arise in this space, right?
Yes.
So I'm really interested about where we're going to go. Just give us in the kind of, as we kind of close out here, I think for time, the kind of like the 30-second summary of the keynote that you're going to be giving in a little while. And as people want to tune in, as you're watching, that's going to be at 3:30 Eastern, 8:30 in the evening if you're watching in London or elsewhere around the world.
Here's my keynote in a nutshell. A few years ago, the most exciting technology that had all the buzz was voice. Today, most exciting technology that has all the buzz is NFTs. Today, voice is in the trough of disillusionment, and pretty soon it'll be in that steady place of just business as usual, billions of people leverage it, and we're going to go through most likely an implosion in NFTs. It's going to go through the trough of disillusionment, and it's going to get steady. When the steadiness happens for both of these industries, whether that's 3 months, 3 years from now, when that happens, the NFT industry as a whole will be dependent on the voice industry creating technology so that people can speak to AR, VR, and everything in general, because thumbs on glass and fingers on keyboard is not the future of the crypto industry. It is going to be your voice for a boatload of reasons, and that is part of the summary of my talk.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time and the attention and doing it live, Ian. Man, what a pleasure it is to spend some time with Ian. Thanks so much. If you want to find out more, go to attn.live.
That's right.
To find out more about Attention Live.
Come find out.
If you're watching live now, you can follow Ian's keynote. It's going to be at 3:30.
3:30 today.
Eastern time on the Hoover app. Drop your questions, follow along in the chat. And always a pleasure to hang out with you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks so much for watching.